Love them or hate them, homeowners associations run Florida. If you live in this state, there's a 50-50 chance that you answer to one. The deal used to be simple. Pay your dues, they mow the grass, and you don't get to paint your house neon pink. Fair enough. But somewhere along the line, it got all twisted. From protecting property values to measuring your grass with a ruler and banning your work truck from your own driveway. If you've been feeling like the walls are just closing in, I've got good news. The rules have changed. While everyone was distracted by the condo crisis, Tallahassee quietly passed a series of laws that stripped power away from the HOA Karens and handed it back to you. We're talking about the pickup truck liberation, the homeowner shield, and a crackdown on fines that's going to make your board president sweat. And you need to stick around until the end, because if you think your board is bad, I'm going to tell you about a board president who did not just fine her neighbors. She turned her whole community into a criminal enterprise, stole $2 million, and is facing serious prison time. You don't want to miss the Gallagher Mafia story. But first, let's talk about your truck. July 1st, 2024. That's the date. That was Independence Day for Florida workers. For 30 years, HOAs had an obsession with commercial vehicles. It didn't matter if your Ford F-150 cost $90,000 and had nicer leather seats than your BMW. If it had a bed, or God forbid, a small logo on the door because you own a small business, you were treated like a second-class citizen. You had to park down the street, rent storage, or cover it up with a tarp like it was contraband. House Bill 1203 ended that. The legislature drew a hard line. The new law says an HOA cannot prohibit a property owner, tenant, or guest from parking their personal vehicle, including a pickup truck, in their driveway. And here's the kicker that boards hate. It explicitly protects work vehicles. Unless you're driving a massive semi-tractor trailer or something that requires a commercial license to operate, they cannot stop you from parking the vehicle you use for work in the driveway that you pay for. If you're a first responder, police, fire, EMS, and you drive a marked vehicle, you're protected. If you own a plumbing company and you have your logo on the door, you're protected. Now, some HOAs are trying to fight this. They're claiming their old rules are grandfathered in, but the statute is clear. The pickup truck ban is dead. If they tow you, they're likely breaking the law. But hey, I want to hear from you. Is your HOA still trying to enforce these dead laws? Or do you have a board president story that gives the mafia a run for their money? Drop a comment below. I'm reading every single one to see where we need to shine the light next. And if you want to make sure your neighbors know their rights before the next board meeting, hit that share button. Now, let's talk about the weapon the HOAs use most, the fine. We've all heard the stories. The fugitive grandma in Wesley Chapel who faced jail time over a dispute that started with a trash can. The legislature saw these headlines and said, this is enough. Under the new Homeowner Bill of Rights, the power to fine you has been severely crippled. First, the garbage can rule. Historically, if you left your bin out 10 minutes past 5 p.m., you got hit with a $100 fine. Not anymore. The new statute says HOAs cannot fine you for leaving your garbage receptacles at the curb within 24 hours of pickup. If trash day is Tuesday, you can put it out Monday and bring it in Tuesday night. They can't touch you. Second, the holiday light rule. You know that neighbor who reports you because your Christmas lights are still up on January 10th? Tell them to get a hobby. The law now states that an HOA cannot fine you for holiday decorations unless they've been up for longer than 1 week after the association gives you written notice. They have to warn you first and give you 7 days to take them down. No instant fines. Third, the right to cure. This is the biggest change. Before 2024, they could fine you the second they saw brown grass. Now due process is mandatory. You must be given 14 days written notice of a hearing. And crucially, if you fix the violation before the hearing, you mow the grass, you move the trash can, they can't impose a fine. They cannot punish you for the past if you fixed it in the present. Now, here is how petty it got. Some HOAs were banning vegetable gardens in your own backyard. You want to grow tomatoes to save money during inflation? Nope. HOA said it was unsightly. The state had to step in and say if it's behind your fence and not visible from the street, you can grow whatever you want. Same with clotheslines. You want to air dry your laundry and save on your electric bill? That is now protected by law. But the biggest change, transparency. If your HOA has 100 or more homes, they are now legally required to maintain a public website with all financials, meeting minutes, and vendor contracts posted online. No more the books are unavailable. No more you're not allowed to see that. And if they destroy the records to hide what they're doing, it's now a criminal offense. Which brings me to the case that made the state realize they were not dealing with just annoying neighbors. They were dealing with organized crime. Let me tell you about the Hammocks Community Association in Miami-Dade. The Hammocks is not just a neighborhood. It's the largest HOA in Florida. 6,500 homes, 25,000 residents. It's the size of a city. And for years, it was run by a woman named Margalie Gallego. Residents knew something was wrong. Their dues were going up 300, 400%. The amenities were falling apart. But every time they asked to see the books, they got stonewalled. When they tried to vote the board out, the meetings were canceled due to fake bomb threats. As it turns out, Gallego was not running an HOA. She was allegedly running a racketeering enterprise. Prosecutors discovered what they called a criminally sophisticated scheme. Gallego and her inner circle, which residents called the Gallego Mafia, had set up a network of fake companies, ghost vendors. They had companies billing the HOA for tree trimming, hurricane cleanup, and security. But the catch? Nobody was doing any work. One company, Excellent Services and Work, was run by Gallego's husband. It billed the HOA for over $1 million. Prosecutors say that money did not cut grass. It bought a private home, it paid off credit cards, and it funded a lifestyle. They had another vendor, Albry Consulting, run by the husband of the board treasurer. It billed nearly $300,000. It was a shell game. Los tios, las tias, the aunts and uncles, they were all on the payroll. In total, they were accused of stealing over $2 million from their own neighbors. But this isn't 2015 anymore. The law caught up. In a massive sting, law enforcement raided the HOA offices. They arrested Gallego, her husband, the treasurer, and just recently, in late 2024, they arrested the accountant, Jesus Q, who said they had helped launder the money. Gallego is facing charges that could put her away for decades. The treasurer has already pleaded guilty. The Hammocks case was a wake-up call. An HOA, a volunteer board of neighbors, had turned into a criminal enterprise that stole millions. And it wasn't just theft. It was racketeering. It was fraud. It was money laundering. These were not just bad board members. These were criminals who weaponized their power over their neighbors. This is why the law has changed. House Bill 919 now makes it a felony to take a kickback from a vendor. It makes it a felony to hide financial records to cover up a crime. It makes it a felony to rig an HOA election. Your board used to operate in the shadows with no oversight. Those days are over. You have the right to park your truck. You have the right to see every receipt. And if they steal from you, they don't just get voted out. They go to prison. Hey, the end of the HOA Karen is over. But for condo owners, a much bigger monster is waking up. The laws that protected the homeowners we talked about today are actually the same ones pushing condo buildings to the edge of a financial cliff. If you own a condo, or if you're thinking about buying one, you're standing in a minefield. I'm going to break down the CSRS inspections and the $100,000 assessments in my next video. Hit that bell so you don't miss the drop. The accountability starts now. Hey, this has been Tom McNamara, Florida Real Estate Insider. I'll see you in the next one.